But it'll look like you did.
But it'll look like it's gonna be like Supreme type signature.
Supreme, all right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right.
So I'm like savvy, and I also really like coffee and caffeine, and I do like drinks too. So I was thinking like maybe like type of mixed coffee, like make it like a nice looking like coffee maker.
Okay.
Something that's like.
But that's really unique. I like that. It's just that simple though. You love coffee. It doesn't sound like something that you can make money off of, but why can't you start a coffee business? That's amazing. Okay, so naming and branding, these are all kind of subjective. I will say the main thing when we were talking about creating tone was we wanted to have it be like something, yo, pass me that tone. It had to be something you could say. We weren't gonna say, pass me that A&P beauty, you know? We weren't gonna, it has to be something that rolls off the tongue, bro. And so that was, we had it, no troll, I think we went through 100 names. And it was like a March Madness bracket. And we got it down. That's how seriously you have to take this. We did the same thing when we started A&P. We went to freelancer.com and we put up a post. We said $2,000 for logo. And no troll, like 20,000 people responded. It was, I don't forget what it was, but we were there in Discord. It was a 3-day event. Narrowing it down. We were all fried by the end of it. But that's how seriously we took this. Because once you decide this, it's kind of hard to change.
Okay, like actual question. Y'all did stuff with the brand. Like I know y'all don't have a lot of time for a lot of things. Did you guys actually do like all of the stuff? Did you have assistants and people?
So with Tone, we were making all the high-level decisions. So we would meet in a room pretty much like once a month. And it would be like a full day thing where we would essentially talk to, at the time, he's still our CEO. He's our CEO. But the first thing we did was hire him. So we actually sat in it's a very scary call. These CEOs are scary people. They're like sharks, bro. And they demand crazy things. Like, you have no idea how good they are at negotiating. They can convince you you're about to die tomorrow. They're very, very good. But we went with the guy that we trusted the most. There were people that had crazier like resumes and stuff like that. We worked in this business, that business, sold 10 of these businesses. But we just went with the guy we could trust because at the end of the day, we let you into our business, we're like this now. It's hard to remove someone once you let them into your business. And so if this the guy we're expecting to help run the show behind the scenes, the guy be somebody we trust, you know? But I'll say when you first start, these people cost a lot, like sometimes $500,000, sometimes $2 million a year. So but if you sell the business, you'll think, wow, they probably deserve more. They went crazy. And then you also kind of want to buy a domain, low-key. Like you want to get something that's easy to, you know what I'm saying? And this actually applies to y'all names too. You know what I'm saying? If your name has mad numbers in it, or like, my name is Agent Zero with 2 T's, like it's confusing. Make it as simple as possible. Like, my name is Agent Zero. Oh, okay, 2 zeros? Yeah, I bet. They can search it up.
So I kind of had a question because my business was like what I wanted was to create like a safe haven for like kids, so that after school programs or like things across just the whole United States or whatever. And when I grew up, I had after school programs, and it kind of saved my life from just going to the streets or just doing stuff after school that I didn't have any business doing, because I was there for like 5 hours right after school, but it was fun. I wanted to go there. We talked about the Lord. We had fun with each other. It was bonding experiences, and it was free for me. But I want to do that as a business and have that across the world. I don't know how I can make money from that, because what if like do I not charge them for it because I didn't have money? That's the reason why.
So the best way to do something like that, that's a nonprofit business. That's not a business you should make money from. But what I would always recommend doing is creating an actual business, a profit business, because that's gonna fund your nonprofit. Right. You feel me? So as you know, this kind of feels like a selfish thing to do a little bit, right? You almost want to help people, not sell them things. But how many times have you needed help and the thing you were missing was money? How hard is it to get money? So to be able to get the money actually gives you access. What you'll find is once you get the money, you probably will be lacking time. But once you have the money, you can just hire people to help with the nonprofit. Yeah. Okay, so the website continues. So, I mean, we got our whole website now. I'm creating a big racing company. It's going to be the next mega thing. I got my car on here with all the cool liveries and decals. It's going crazy. I'm really excited. I'm finding different ways to monetize my business here. And honestly, it was as simple as putting a prompt inside. Bro, no troll. I've never had an easier experience building this. We built it at 10 a.m. today. So that's how simple that was. You need no knowledge whatsoever. The second thing you want to do, and you mentioned this earlier, is you want to incorporate your business. Let me explain a concept just if you've never seen a business before, okay? are right here. Okay, this is you. This is not your business. Your business is, let's call it Twitch LLC. Okay. Okay. When you make money doing your business, streaming, you actually, all the money goes here. All of the money goes here. You don't make a dime. You pay yourself a certain salary based on the income you make on your business. So when I say business, I truly mean it's like a separate entity. Like legally, it is a separate entity. Like if that means if your business goes under, you're not personally liable. You just bankrupt. And we see that a lot in business. When your Spirit went bankrupt, the owners of Spirit don't have to come out their own pockets. It's just the business went under. So just on a very simple level, you're not your business. You own your business. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. You'll need that. So incorporating is essentially the process of creating that business. So you just get an incorporation lawyer. Genuinely, you can do it yourself if you want to. There's a chance you mess it up if you do it yourself and you don't know what you're doing. So I'd probably recommend getting one. You can do it for as cheap as $500. Sometimes it costs a little bit more depending on the structure of your business. But if you guys are just one person and you own the business, usually it's a very simple process.
Okay. I have a warning for people that do that. Make sure you get someone you trust to help. Because I got an accountant and he did that for me. And I was supposed to get a payroll to myself every month. And I didn't realize until 2 years later I got none of the money and he stole $100,000.
You got Greg? Damn. Wow. 170?
Yeah.
You got it back, right?
Not yet. I'm in the process.
Okay.
Hey, I'm killing somebody.
Woo! Okay, I will say, you actually don't need an accountant to do that. You only need a lawyer to create the company. You can have an accountant to manage the money and stuff like that in it if afterwards, but your accountants and lawyers should be people you trust with your life because they can't scam you and you will never know. So it doesn't cost much to do. It's a formality, really. But once you incorporate, you can actually head to step 3, create a bank account. You feel me? And this sounds simple, but this is how you'll be moving all your money. So I actually had done both these stages. I did create my LLC, even though I don't plan on using it till probably at some point next year. And I also created my bank accounts. And then you want to put some money in your bank account so they don't close your account, whatever the default is for the bank that you use. But because it's its own entity now, it can own things. It can own assets. If you want, you could assign a house to it. You could assign anything that can be legally owned to your new LLC. And what we're going to do first is create a bank account. Probably open a couple credit cards, invest a little bit of capital, like whatever the default is. For your bank, it could be like $50, could be $1,000, whatever. And then you could also, and then that's going to help because ideally you want the money going to your account. Otherwise, your accountant is going to be a mess. And all that is help. Shopify has an entire process to help with payments and things of that nature to make that whole process easy as you guys create and sell products on your business. And then the next part is product development. So there's actually 2 ways to do it. The way we did it with Tone is what we call from scratch. This means we was there in the boardroom day 1 figuring this out. But as you'll realize, as you guys grow as streamers, you will actually have opportunities where people will come to you and say, hey, do you want to be the face of our business? We already have a little bit of motion. So I'm not going to use names, but we had something happen a couple months ago where a big energy drink company had asked us if we want to work with them. They already were making like $50 million a year in sales, but they weren't selling to consumers, they were selling to a specific industry. They wanted something consumer facing, so they wanted us to be the face of it. And that's what we call white label. So these are like slow opportunities that come. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying, if you're selling something, it had got to be something you really believe in. And usually when you go white label, you don't have as much control over it because it's already owned by a lot of people. They can give you 5% equity, 10%, 20%, 30% equity. If the opportunity makes sense, it's something you care about, it's something you can entertain. But if you can, it comes off as a lot more authentic when you do things from scratch. That's something out of your soul. That's something, every business is a little bit of risk. It's risk you put in time-wise, it's risk you put in money-wise. And so when people feel that, that's what makes them want to support something. Feel me? And then also the product just has to be kind of good. And here's 2 examples. So Mr. Beast at first, he did Mr. Beast Burger, and it was cool. You know, it was a good idea. I think he was thinking of how fast he could potentially scale it with a bunch of ghost kitchens, and it did fail eventually. This is an idea of something that was white label, but then he learned from that lesson and did something from scratch, where he made that whole chocolate process himself. And even if you didn't like the original Feasible Bars, the new ones are fire. But that took a process. His audience originally believed in the idea, bought the products. That gave him enough momentum to be able to improve the products. All these fields are like super competitive. When you get a big streamer in chocolate, Hershey's doesn't like that. And when we get in self-care, the Doves don't like that. They see you as a threat. But that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing because those are actually the people that eventually will put an offer on your business. So, you know, when Instagram was bought by Facebook, they saw Instagram as a threat. And so you have two options. You either compete with the threat or you buy the threat. So depending on the terms of the arrangement, and you could argue that was the biggest deal of Facebook's career. I think they bought it for $1 billion. It's worth way more than that now. So like, you know, it's business. You know, you never know in hindsight. But this is the difference between white label and then doing something from scratch. And then the next part is the hiring. So you made the business. Now it has bank accounts. It's an official entity. Now you actually have to hire. This actually completely depends on how much money you have, right? When cenat is starting his clothing brand, he could afford to hire the best. He can get the best people. But if you don't have that type of money, you could actually just run it all yourself, right? And there's lots of examples of that. And I genuinely recommend you start picking the brains of some of these streamers that have businesses, bro. Your Rage has a gym. He owns a commercial gym. That's a whole business, but nobody ever asks him questions about that. You feel me? But you have so much to learn from people that have experienced it. Not just because he owns a business, because he's also a streamer. So he knows what it's like to stream a bunch and then also manage a business. These are people you should learn from. Ray was in here earlier. Ray is a business demon, bro. Like, she's someone I want to pick her brain. She understands it. She's in the right spots. She's good at negotiating. So these are people, if you have them for a second, they just chop it up. Like, yo, I feel like I can learn a lot from you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't mind, you got like 5 minutes. I promise they're not going to send you away, all right? And so, like, for me, what hiring would look like in my agency racing business is I'd probably hire somebody that could do both operations and sales. So I am anticipating maybe it costs like $80,000 to $100,000 for that role. And then just somebody that could help put the racing team in front of brands, but also can get stuff done. I'm gonna need the car shipped to this place. I'm gonna need to contact this person. I'm gonna need this bill. I need this on this car, whatever. I also wanna film the journey. This is interesting because it kind of depends on how you wanna do it. A good story always wins. I'm gonna give you a good example. Nobody here watched F1 10 years ago, I swear. Like, in America, I didn't hear nothing about F1. All they did was drop a good documentary on Netflix, and all of a sudden, people are popping out to Miami to go to the event, Austin go to the event, Vegas got an event. Well, that's in Europe, but you're right. It's expanding. That's my point. You have no idea how powerful a good story is. You're making a brand, right? What's the story behind that? What makes you want to actually create? Like, what is the story you're going to tell to people that they're going to connect to? So you might not need to know the answer right now, but these are things you should be thinking about, because the better you could communicate it, the more people are going to connect with it. Does that make sense? And then you want to make your first purchase. And for me, I'll probably just get like a simple car, like an agency Miata. So it's simple, but in racing world, like simple is $50,000 Miata. So you got to get the roll cage and all the fire hydrants and safety features and stuff like that. Yeah. You know those little, yeah, it's like whatever. No, it's the Mazda. Yeah. But anyway, besides the point. Bro, I want to be in the track right now. When I was coming here, I hit up Payne, because Payne also has an automotive company. And I said, yo, you trying to drift? You want to do something? And we almost shipped our cars out here to do some stuff, but we just didn't think we were going to have time. Yeah, but that's how much I care about it. It's very fun. Yeah. You don't have, but whatever that purchase looks like for you. For you, it could be like, if you're creating a product, it could be getting a test. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to cost some money depending on where you do it from. I will say, if you're struggling to find information, you'll be surprised how useful some of the AI tools are. So I only use AI as a search engine. I literally just use it to search. I didn't know how, what's that? Yeah, no, for your creative, bro. You don't want to replace people with it, but you know, if you're using Google, just use Google Gemini. It's going to feed you a better answer. And even if you use Google, it's going to say AI summary, and it's going to give you Gemini. But the point is, like, if you have no idea how to do something, you could Google it. But like, if I don't know a specific racing rule for a specific organization on a specific day, I'm not Googling that no more. I literally just Gemini, and Gemini go through the whole fucking rule book for me and then tell me what the actual answer is. So, you know, be efficient with your time. And then you want to create a home for the business. This is actually where Shopify comes in. So you want to create a store if it's something that you're selling, a landing page. When Streamer University was announced, what did Kai post?